How we doing? It's Brew Crew Territory. Scotty Braun and former Brewer LoCain for a team that's playing super, super well in the National League Central. They got stronger, Lo. Last show, we covered a little bit of the Carlos Santana addition from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Helps them on defense when he is out on the field playing first. Of course, helps them get on base. That's what he does. I mean, he's got a better eye than most umpires. And Mark Canha is actually kind of the same way when he's at the plate. Dude figures out how to get on base. Andrew Chafin to help them out in the bullpen, especially against lefties. What did you think of their moves, which were much more than a lot of other teams made?
Yeah, I think they made a lot. They made a few positive moves that they needed more than anything. I think they shored up uh, their offense by trying to add consistent guys, consistent on base guys, also shoring up the back end of the bullpen as well. So hey, that's what they needed. They got great starting pitching. Now we need a consistent offense, and also to shore up that bullpen is going to be huge down the stretch for this team.
Yeah, I'm with you. And Mark Canha, just adding the outfield depth, is a guy that not only can work a walk, but he can work a little HBP.
Oh
He's
yeah,
one of the best in the biz for years like that. He just takes a hit, take the bruise, take a base, improve the on base percentage, pass the baton. So love all that. And this team's gotten great contributions from guys like Yelich and William Contreras and now Sal Frelick. So add these two guys, some veteran bats to help the ball club. Looks like it's going to make a big difference for this team, especially because now it's looking like it's 3 teams going for the division instead of 2 since the Cubs decided, screw it, we're going to try. They add Jeimer Candelario. They have been on a run lately. They might even pass the Reds. We'll see. But now you have 3 teams going for playoff spots in the NL Central. It's gotten a little tougher out there with the Brewers, the Reds, and the Chicago Cubs. So we'll see how all of that goes. Let's get into more of the Brewers conversation right now with Curt Hogg, who joined us on FT from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel to give us a little more of like a 360 view of what the Brewers look like right now. Curt, great to see you. Are you hanging in the park right now?
Yeah, I got here a little early today. I mean, it's like high 70s. It's like a perfect Milwaukee day. Like when you think of the best Milwaukee summer days, it's today.
And so everything's open? There's no threat of rain or anything?
Everything's open. I don't think it's going to rain tonight. So beautiful day at the park.
Curt, right. Hey, since you're already there, why don't you take us up to the slide? Let's do a live slide on the Foul Territory.
I don't think anyone's monitoring it right now, but they've cracked down in the last year.
I snuck up there COVID year. Me and Jed Jerko, we snuck up there and did it. It was unbelievable.
You didn't injure yourself though.
I didn't injure myself. It was fast though, and when you get up there, it's high.
Yeah, that's there's the turn. That's what I'm a little concerned about. I think I'll be fine, but there's that little question of doubt. Like,
have you ever done it?
No, I haven't. I was going to, but then after the Dodgers reporter broke his ribs or his wrist or maybe both last year, it's seriously been cracked down. It's much harder to get someone to take you up there.
Well, yeah, we know about the famous injury with David Vassay of the Dodgers reporter who broke his arm or something like that.
That was funny. That's a great clip. Yeah, me and Jed, we just hopped some fences and climbed up there. We got in trouble after by security, but we didn't care. We did it. We checked it off the list. There's that other bucket list thing.
You're players. You can get
sing the 7th inning at Cubs and slide down the slide in Milwaukee. I got one of them.
All right, so Curt, let's get to business. Did the Brewers do enough? Do you like their moves? Grade the trade deadline for Milwaukee.
Yeah, I did like their moves considering what was available on the market. You kind of saw how it played out. Other than the top of the top names, which the Brewers weren't really going to be in play for in terms of they didn't want to deal that prospect capital. I think they did all right. Now the question shifts to, is this team good enough, even including those moves, to win this division, make the playoffs? We can get into all of that. But, considering they had a delicate balance to strike between not having the greatest team right now, having a good team, and then having a good farm system. And not a great market either. It's a tricky balance to play, but I think they did well, not really giving up all too much for guys that should help.
Curt, I just seen you literally a few days ago and in Milwaukee. What's the temperament of the team? Honestly, the Reds obviously they play the younger team when I was there, fiery. The Brewers a little older, starting pitchers. Got some youth, obviously, with their prospects. But what's the temperament of the team? They made some good trades. I like both of them, actually. I love Santana big time. But what's the temperament of their team? Are they going to go for it, really? Because this is an open division, as the Cubs are going for it. I think no one besides even the Pirates, everybody's in. What's the temperament of the Brewers as everybody's in the Central?
Yeah, I think it's a clubhouse that knows everyone's in it. They know they're in it, and there's a need for some sparks over the last couple months, and they think that they're gonna get him. Whether it was Sal Frelick coming up, I don't know if you were here for his debut. That was an electric night.
Yeah, and I seen him go deep too.
Yeah, that was the night I saw you here. That was a spark. Brandon Woodruff coming back will be a spark. They hope some of these guys they got, Carlos Santana, Andrew Chafin, Mark Canha at the deadline. They hope those are sparks to get you through the last 2 months. It's like inside this organization, I get the sense that they believe that they should win this division. The players think it. I think probably the front office believes that they've assembled a team that can win it. They've got to have some guys that are underperforming in all earnestness right now. They need those guys to step up. Willie Adames hasn't been great in the second half, or hasn't played up to the performance level that they're used to from him as well. Some guys that are injured right now, like Rowdy Tellez, hasn't been to the standard that he set for himself either. So if the guys that are kind of playing under where they've been at in their career step up and the trades perform as expected, this is a team that should be in it to the very end.
All right, Curt, you talked about Big Woo, Brandon Woodruff. He was just here in Nashville on a rehab. Pissed off he didn't text me. I would have driven over and watched him. Big fan of him. So obviously he's ramping things up. He's in AAA doing rehab. Is his next start going to be with Milwaukee? Is he going to need 1 or 2 more here in the minor leagues?
Well, we'll hopefully get an answer on that later today. But if you know anything about Big Woo, if anyone knows anything about Big Woo, he's going to do everything in his possibility to make his next start be here on this homestand. I think that'll be next week against the Rockies. It lines up they've got a spot for him to step in next week. He's gotten through 3 rehab starts. He's gotten 5 up downs in 70-something pitches. Like in terms of workload and getting that good soreness in you and getting that good tiredness in you as well. Like he's done everything that he thinks he needs to do. Like the Brewers are right in the thick of it. They don't have a huge, I guess, pressing need for like they need to have another starter. Colin Ray's stepped in and done sufficiently, but as we all know, there's not many guys like Brandon Woodruff out there, and they've been waiting 4+ months for this guy to come back. So I could very well see that button getting pressed, and he'll be right out here throwing in just a few days.
Hey, Curt, were you surprised that the Reds did absolutely nothing at the trade deadline? Even Nick Krall, who's done a great job, especially over the past couple of years, their GM, kind of hinted that they were going to make a move. And there was public comments about how they've been filling that place up, and they're kind of felt like they were going to reward the fans with some type of deal. And you could look at this team and say, okay, there's a lot going right. But then you look at the last couple of days and you're like, holy shit, they needed pitching. I mean, they've given up a freaking boatload of runs to a Cubs team that's good, but they're making their offense look like it's, one of the best offenses we've ever seen. So we've also seen these 2 teams match up, and the Brewers have owned the matchup. I like Cincinnati. I think it's a great story, but I think they really missed the boat by not trying to do a little something for their pitching depth, despite Green and Lodolo coming back at some point. Were you looking like, wait, am I missing something?
Like what?
Did the Reds do anything?
Am I missing something here? Yeah, I mean their pitching has been it's been, I guess, manageable. Like it's kept them in games and allows their offense, which is really, really good and really, really dangerous. Unless they're playing the Brewers, apparently, against everyone else, they score a ton of runs, but not against Milwaukee for whatever reason. But yeah, the pitching has it's like just needs some more guys. Like Alexis Diaz is really good. They got some other interesting guys in the bullpen, but it's needed some guys. Maybe needed another starter. Now you could squint and very well see them still winning this division with what they've got. They've got so much offensive talent, but on the other hand, like you saw a lot of teams make some marginal to a little more than marginal upgrades and didn't cost a whole lot. Like the Brewers didn't put much of a dent in their system at all to address 3 positions of need. And like this is kind of my philosophy on the Reds and like maybe where the Orioles were. You've got so many prospects to deal from, and you've got such a you have a chance to win now. Your team is in a spot to make some serious hay in the playoffs. The fan base is as energized as they've been in a decade plus. Why not go? Why not go for it? Make a little move. Go get Giolito or someone. I don't know if that was the right move for the Reds or not, but that's what I would have done.
Yeah, I mean, Eduardo Rodriguez, we talked about a lot, Jonesy, and I don't think he was on the no trade list. That would have been a good ask.
Easily to bring in guys like that. And again, you don't have, they always talk about windows. There's only a few teams that have true windows that are open. A lot of these teams' windows are barely cracked and they break them to get through. This is a year for the Reds to do that. Like, why not be like, again, you got prospects going forward. I hope that they turn out to be what they turn out to be, but your fans are excited right now. They're not, no one's thinking about 2024 yet until it gets here. You can add some pieces. You got capital. I mean, again, it's a different division. It's not the East. It's not the West. But you got to add something to tell my fan base and my guys, like, hey, we're going for it. We need a little bit of help. You know, our records indicate we're right at 500, basically. We need a little bit of help. They didn't do it.
Just something. Paul Sewald, Andrew Chafin, who's here, would have been good. I do, like I said, I think the Brewers did pretty well addressing some needs. They weren't the splashiest ads, but considering how bad this offense has been, an upgrade's an upgrade at this rate.
100%.
Yeah, and what about the Cubs then? So I do think it makes it more fun, and now the Cubs are looking going, oh, Cincinnati didn't do anything, and now they're smacking them around right now. I always think there's some karma related to that, but were you surprised that the Cubs decided to go in? I was pretty hard on them because I don't see it, but I know they're on a great run right now. I still think the Brewers are going to probably win the division, and the Cubs are going to be on the outside looking in from a wild card, but they're certainly making a strong case right now.
Yeah, the lineup, like you said, it's not the 27 Yankees, but you kind of stack the names on that lineup compared to, say, the Brewers lineup, and it looks a lot better down on the north side of Chicago for sure than it does here. Those boys can put up some runs at a serious clip. So, yeah, it'll be. I mean, they're right in the thick of this, so it'll be very interesting to see how it goes. Brewers are done with the Reds, but they've got the Cubs still a few more times. I'm not sure how the Cubs pitching is going to be able to hold up. They've gotten some good performances out of some guys for sure. They were in a tricky spot about like a week and a half ago where they started going on this little bit of a winning streak, and it was like, oh boy, I don't know if like they're going to be able to like climb all the way back into this, but that might keep them from selling, or is like going to be a good thing. I think it was a good thing for them long term because they're right smack dab in the wild card now.
Yeah, and how do you think Brewers fans feel about Brock Holt wearing Cubs gear today after 2 days of fireworks, even though Brock still got a little Milwaukee Brewers on his big league resume, Brockstar. Let's
yeah. The Cubs have been on fire just about as long as I was in my career in Milwaukee lasted, right? Like 30 at bats, send me packing. You know what? I think why I got designated so quick was because me and Yelich were hanging out a lot, and Yelich wasn't playing that great. So they're like, listen, Yelich just got off back-to-back years of 2 MVPs, and now he's not that great of a player, and Brock's the only thing that's changed. So let's get rid of him. And now look at him. He's back, baby.
Hey, I
buy it.
Immaculate
grid name for Brewers, by the way, though.
Oh, I'm sure more people will think of me as a Brewers legend than you think, Curt. I'll bet I'm up there in the 15-20% range.
Yeah, we got what number 20 was it?
No, 11.
11.
Yeah. See, you don't. Yeah, you see that. That tells you all you need to know right there.
Well, it's. I thought they were going to have it up here on the facade, but for some reason they haven't gotten there yet.
The number 11 didn't last long in Brewers Brewers history.
Hey, well, Curt, I want to finish with this. Who maybe the next great number 11 could be for the Brewers? Take us down to the farm for a moment, because this team's done a much better job with their farm system the last year or two versus what they had for like a 3-4 year stretch before that. They were towards the bottom. They were competing every year. They didn't have much to take from their minor league system. We've seen a bunch of young Brewers come up this year, like Frelick, obviously the latest. And then, of course, we all want to talk about Jackson Churio. So what do you think? Is there anyone else left that's going to come up this year that's going to contribute? And I don't know, if the offense is just okay and Churio just starts raking for the next month and a half, why not say fuck it and bring up the maybe best prospect in baseball right now?
He's the youngest player at Double-A, and he's the hottest hitter in the entire minor leagues right now. I feel like, as of even a couple weeks ago, the idea was like, he's 19. This would be rushing him up here. I don't know if the calculation changes at all over the next 3 weeks if he keeps, hitting a homer every other night like he's been doing. That'd be exciting to see. I mean, talk about the fans being interested. They would be all for it. I still don't think it happens. That's my sense of the situation. One name is Tyler Black. He's the other really good hitter at Double-A right now. He could fill the need at first base, could be a designated hitter, also play some third base, although that's not his strength. He's a little older, I think 22 maybe. So probably Brewers would be maybe a little more inclined to feel like he's more big league ready if they need to call up a guy. But man, that would be some excitement over the final month to get Churio up here for sure.
And I've just been reminded, Brock, that number 11 is taken at the moment.
Yeah, Rowdy Tellez. He's won it a little bit better than me.
Different size uniform.
A little bit more pop, but a lot less hair.
Exactly. Well stated. Yes. And Rowdy's back. What's the timetable on him, by the way, Curt? Because we don't usually bring dudes on when they're hurt.
He's taken some swings.
Okay.
He's got to get to rehab games and then get a few of more than a few of those in, because it's been a while since he's been out. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we miss him. Curt, great to catch up with you.
I'll tell you guys miss him, and Brock said he's a better Brewer.
Yeah, tell him that. He already knows that, though.
He'll have no retort whatsoever, I'm sure.
Oh no, I love Rowdy. He's a great dude.
Yeah, too bad he's so quiet. He doesn't like to, throw jabs at anybody. Curt, great to have you on, man. Good to catch up again.
Thanks, Curt.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, Lo, a unique situation here with one of the rookies on the crew. Bryce Terang was able to change his number with Luis Arias being traded to the Boston Red Sox. Terang had the number 0, which in itself is a pretty unique number to wear. Many of the guys don't want to wear 0. And he changed his number to 2. Can't have 1 because that was retired by the Brewers for Bud Selig. And so his dad wore the number 1 when he was in the bigs. Bryce has this big tattoo on his arm with dad wearing 1, Bryce wearing 2. He's a rookie, though, when you come up to the show, unless he's got like serious dough that I don't know about and he can talk Arias into it, he had to wait until it was his time to shine. So had you ever seen something like that, like teammates changing midseason, or if a rookie comes up? I'm sure you've never heard of a rookie coming up and saying, "Oh, hey, vet, can I steal your number?"
Yeah, you're definitely not getting that from a vet, 100%. But hey, he got some positive vibes from changing his number. He's already homered. He's off to a great start with his new number change. But hey, keep the positive vibes going. Let it rub that good juju off on your teammates. And y'all just ride off into the sunset, into the playoffs. So they're going to be a fun team to watch down the stretch for sure.
And especially now with Brandon Woodruff coming back. Big Woo gets a lot of attention on this show. That's a number 1 starting pitcher that has been gone for almost the entire season for Milwaukee, who now comes back to the fold. He's been pretty durable for them, goes through an injury. It's the first time he's had really this extended injury. He comes on the show all the time, and everyone's excited to have him back from, of course, a clubhouse perspective. But what he does on the mound, we talked about it, you, me, and Adam Jones. So let's run through that conversation right now on the return of Big Woo being one of the most impactful injury returns of the season for a contending ball club. And welcome back, Brandon Woodruff, coming to the party. Big Woo gets so much attention. And I think, I get to learn how some of the players are liked and respected. And Brandon Woodruff is talked about like for months now, even when he's on the IL. Of course, we know what he does on the bump. But dude's in Milwaukee because we have a lot of them on low. They miss him. Freddie Peralta just went out and said it in the beginning of the year, which I thought was fun. He was like, that's my guy. That's my number one on the mound if I need somebody, and he's got good teammates with him too. Like Corbin Burns is no slouch, but Brandon Woodruff is respected. And hey, you want a second half addition? We talk about that. I think some teams play that up too much. Like the Red Sox were saying, oh, we got all these pitchers coming back, like Sale. I'm like, okay, but Sale's great, but he's been hurt a lot. Like he can't stay on the field right now. They're talking about like Tanner Houck and Garrett Whitlock. Like Brandon Woodruff coming back. That is a legit claim by a team to be like, we have a dude that's better than any free or trade addition that we could make at the deadline.
Yeah, and he is that dude. That's the thing, you like to hear about. He's that dude. And Big Woo's he's a great clubhouse guy, and I know it's eating him alive that he hasn't been able to pitch all year, and he's itching to get back out there. I just know the kind of mentality he has and the competitor he is. So, for Freddie to say that, that's something I experienced. You love to have great guys in the clubhouse because it makes the environment a lot more fun, and also you have a top competitor that goes out there and dominates on the mound each start. So, overall, he brings everything to the table that you want in a player.
Yeah, Brandon Woodruff is legit, man. That's a big help for this team. They've got a solid 1, 2, 3 at the top of that rotation that you don't want to mess with in the playoffs. That's like an old school 1, 2, 3. You have 3 guys, Jonesy, that can go 7, 8 innings in a playoff start. And then it's like Piamps, who's been sick for them, not really a known name, but big trade addition for them. Piamps and Devin Williams, and good night. We took game 1, 2, and 3.
And it's crazy is the wild card is the guy who was just in Milwaukee. He still don't know how they still paying him. Wade Miley. Hey, Wade to go out there and run up 6, 7 innings on you real quick. You know what I mean? He worked quick, so you can go to dinner that night. So he is, that to me is one of the guys that is a glue too, as he's the older guy. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Burns and Woodruff are the stuff guy. He's the older guy who's been around a little bit longer. But again, those 2 guys don't need to be spoken to. Those are some of the top pitchers in the game. But having Woodruff back is obviously a big key. It puts everybody again back into where they belong in the rotation. And, if you got Burns and Woodruff going back-to-back days, guess what? Your bullpen hopefully should have rest days to when the other starters, again, I love Peralta and love Wade, as I just mentioned, and Ray, who's throwing tonight, it still gives the bullpen rest for their starts.
Okay, so Lo, the Brewers are in a softer portion of their schedule right now, Pirates, Rockies, but I'm looking towards the end of the month, and they've got the Dodgers on there, the Rangers, the Twins, the Padres, and now a Cubs team that's improved themselves. So this is the time to shine and take advantage. Also for me, because we know this week they had a huge win, one of their wins against Pittsburgh. They won, I believe it was 14-1. Offense was clicking. And I have to think that a front office that's making veteran additions to a lineup helps the younger guys who performed really well this week, like Terang, like Sal Frelick, take a little bit of weight off their shoulders. You were part of a KC team, remember, that suddenly brought in Zobrist 1 year, and help me out. Who else did you guys add?
Cueto, yep. Yeah, those were our main pieces, and having those guys was humongous. So having those guys kind of solidified our team and completed our team, and that helped us propel, as far as we went.
What did guys say when you had additions like that, right? And those are probably even bigger additions than we're talking about here with Milwaukee, but still, I mean, these are solid big league regular ball players that can fill into a lineup every day. When that happened with you guys back then, did you actually feel like, aside from those 2, the team played better because of the added juice that you got?
It's just you feel the energy, you feel the boost that it brings your clubhouse. It's like, hey, my team went out and made a move. Like, we went out and did something that helped our team get better. And that just making those moves not only makes you feel good as a player, it kind of boosts the morale on the team as well. And say, hey, they believe in us. They believe we can go out and compete and hopefully get to the playoffs and win a World Series. And that's what, being a GM does for a ball club.
So we'll see how that plays out, and we'll talk about it again in the next few weeks on Brew Crew Territory. Thanks everyone for watching. If you're on YouTube, and if you want to listen to this on the go, we're on Apple, we're on Spotify. Just type in Brew Crew Territory, and we'll be there for you. For Lo, I'm Braun. See you next time.
Alrighty.